Hello programmers and welcome to a new video today. So in today's video we're going to look into how do you reverse an array. So basically to reverse an array the question will say is it gives an input of an array. The array may be a array of items of numbers, booleans, characters, strings, whatever it is, but the input will basically be an array and we need to reverse this array. So I would give you a time of like 5 to 10 minutes. Try out this problem. It's pretty simple. Pause this video and you could try this problem. In case you're not able to solve this problem, let's check on to solving it with my solution. Okay, so what happens is first of all we have been given this input array. This array is a set of numbers 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and our duty is to reverse it. So we get this reversed array of values 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. So basically we can do this method by using auxiliary data structures like something like a stack, and without we can also improvise the solution that we create using the same array but just by manipulating the data present. So let's see the first method where we use a stack. So I'll just write here using a stack. What do we do is to basically, if you do not know what a stack is, so a stack is basically a pile of elements where suppose you've got these data values. For timing I'll just keep a set of data values 10, 20, 30. So you've got these numbers, and the property of stack defines is that it's a last in first out method, right? So the element that goes in last will be able to be popped out only first, and there are several functions in stack. One is pop. Basically pop removes the last element, and there's peek. Peek checks the whether what is the last element. So in this case peek will be 30 and pop will also be 30, but this time with pop function the whole data is expelled out from the stack, and after popping out the stack the data will be 10 and 20. There will be no 30 in the case of stack. In the case of pop, in the case of peek, it's just that you're seeing the data value. Then you also have another function in a stack says that is empty, and this function simply checks whether the stack is empty or not. In this case is empty will be false since there are items in our stack. Okay, so now that we've got a basic understanding of the stack method data structure, let's try to understand how do we solve this problem using a stack. So what we do is we create this stack. Okay, and right now our stack is empty, so let me just copy down this array over here. Okay, so now you can see the stack array is present over here. So what we'll do is every time we get elements, iterate over this array, we will start popping them into the stack. Okay, so what will happen is we'll use a pointer. So the pointer will start with using a for loop. We will start with the first element. So 10 is the first element. We will take that 10 and we will push it into the stack. Okay, so pushing is basically throwing elements into your stack. Then we would do that for 20. Okay, and then this pointer will keep moving ahead, and now it will move to 30. So something like here 30, and then we will add that element 30. Okay, and this process will keep on happening till the end of the elements in the array 40. And I don't think so I need to explain you this. So basically we've got this stack, and now what we'll do is we'll create another array of the same amount of elements. So in this case there are 5 elements in the previous array, so we'll again create an array with 5 elements, 5. And what we'll do is we will start popping each element from the stack and start placing them into the array. Okay, so something after popping, let me just delete this array since we are done with this, and let me bring this up. Okay, so after popping each element, so it will look like something this. We will use the pop function, and then this element would go here 50, and then we will iteratively do it and keep checking till the stack is empty. So you do this, 40 goes here, it's pretty simple. Then 30 goes here, then 20 goes here, and then 10 goes here, and in the end of the after popping out each element it's basically going to be empty, and then the stack of ours is not, there's nothing going to be present in a stack, and then the list that we have created is our reverse list. Okay, But the problem in this solution is iterating over the list of array creates the time complexity of O of n, that is in its first iteration. But then every iteration of a stack also occupies the same amount of time complexity, that is n plus n. So this is the time complexity of iterating over the input stack, input array, and this is the time complexity of iterating, or I'd say basically popping elements. Okay, popping elements, O of n plus n, so that is O of 2n. But as you know, in higher bound complexities we just take O of n, so time complexity will be of O(n), which is pretty fine. The issue comes in this problem is the space complexity. Okay, so we are using a auxiliary data structure, that is a stack, and it's storing n number of elements. So basically in this question there were 5 elements, so the stack also was storing 5 elements. But say if there were 1000 elements, the stack was going to 1000 elements. So basically in the end we refer that it's storing a time space complexity of big O of n. Okay, so in the end our time complexity is big O of n, as well as the space complexity is the same. Okay, space complexity is same. Okay, so let's try to understand how do we improve the solution by removing this space complexity that we're using. Basically we're not going to use any auxiliary data structure. Okay, so let's try to understand how do we do that. Let me just, so now I will just even delete this, and what I'll say is now using no auxiliary data structure. Okay, no auxiliary data structure. So in this solution what we will do is, let me take my input stack again, my input array again. Let me print that away. Okay, so as you can see this is an array. So what we do is we use 2 pointers. Okay, so we use this pointer low and this pointer high. Okay, so we've got these 2 pointers. Low will be initialized to 0 and high will be initialized to the number of elements in the array, that is the length of the array. So the length of the array is basically here 5, but we'll basically use the len of array -1, so that we do not come out to an error of excess bond error. Okay, so what we do is now we iterate over each element in the array with the variables low and high, and for each iteration we replace the values. Okay, so we swap the values. So what will happen is, currently what we'll say is array of low. Okay, now array of low basically at this position is 0, so its array of low is 10, and array of high is len of array -1. So basically the array of high is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So array of I is in this case 50. Okay, so what we'll do is we will create a temp variable, and we will store the array low. Okay, so that its data does not get vanished when we start replacing the values. And what we'll do is we will say array of high is equal to array of low. Okay, wait, let me do one better work. I'll say array of low is equal to array of high. Okay, so what happens is in this step, now array of low becomes 50. Okay, and it's no more 10 anymore. Okay, so in this position it was 10 and now it's 50. So what happened is array of low is 50. Okay, now its array of low is 50, and we'll do the same thing with array of high. Okay, so we'll say array of high is equal to now we can't say array of low since array of low is 50. So what we did is we use this variable temp to store array of low value. So we'll say array of high is temp. Okay, and now the new the new array is not the previous array anymore. It is 50, 20, 30, 40 and 10, since we swap these values. Okay, and then after this we will increment low by one amount and we'll decrement high by one amount, okay, by one integer. Decrement high by 1 and increment low by 1. Okay, so what will happen is now the low pointer will be present on 20 and the high pointer will be present on 40. So basically the same thing is going to happen. I explained. We're going to swap these values, and 40 is 20. So what will happen is after swapping, we will get the desired array as 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. Okay, but now let's try to define a base case so that this function, this loop of ours, stops at a position. Okay, so what we'll create a condition that if while, what I will say is while the low is less than high. Okay, while low is less than high. Okay, so first the low was 0, so at first iteration the low was 0 and high was 4. Then next iteration low became 1 and high became 3. Okay, and then now next iteration after again adding, it will become 2 and 2, and this case is going to break. Okay, because we have created this case while low is less than high. Okay, so this case is going to break and this will be a output array. Okay, so in the end of we will be using 3 steps. Okay, we'll be using just 3 steps to replace. Okay, it's much better, much better than the previous previous solution where we used an auxiliary data structure and all. Okay, so basically in 3 steps we keep on replacing the element present at the first position and the last position, and then we keep incrementing and decrementing the low and high variables. Okay, so now I will show you the code to the second solution. Since the first solution is pretty simple, you can just use a stack and implement the pop functions to create that solution. Okay, but this solution, let's check this out on our compiler. Okay, so as you can see, I've created this reverse function that takes an array as an argument. Okay, so first thing is I'll create the low variable and I'll equate it to equate it to 0, and now I'll create the high variable, and what I'll say is it's equal to len of array minus 1. Okay, and now I'll create a while loop, and what I'll say is while low is less than high. Okay, while low is less than high, meaning during this condition is fulfilled, we will go inside the while loop. Okay, until this condition is fulfilled, the while loop will work. Otherwise, if this condition isn't fulfilled, the while loop will terminate. Okay, it's pretty simple. So what we'll say is array, we'll create a temp variable is equal to array low. Okay, and we'll save the data of array low in that, and we'll say array low is equal to array high. Okay, and array high is equal to temp. Okay, since we are storing the value of array low in the variable temp. Okay, and this is going to pretty much work, and then in the end we'll just return the array to see the output. Okay, so I'll just create an array for the timing, array of elements. Maybe for the timing I'll just use 1 2 3 4 5 9 10. Okay, and I'll run the function and let's see the value. Okay, so I'll just create an answer variable, answer, and I'll run the function reverse and the array, and I'll print the value. Okay, there's some issue, maybe while low is less than high. Okay, so there's a big issue in this code. I'm not appending, incrementing and decrementing the values, so it's going to be an infinite loop. So let me just do that. There's some error, invalid syntax. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a array inverted, basically using the while loop instead of creating an auxiliary data structure. And let's talk about the time complexity of this. Okay, so basically in this array we created these 2 variables, low and this variable high. Okay, and they started from the first position and last position. Okay, and then they kept iterating, and they kept iterating from the start position to maybe the first, second, third position, and this kept on iterating to the 4th position. Okay, so it iterated to the whole portion of the list, and then it stopped. So basically it's pretty much going to be O of big O of n, and the space complexity is reduced to a great factor to constant amount of space complexity. Okay, So this is basically the definition of this problem and the solution. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, do drop a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Thank you.